Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? Long time no see. Apologies about the slight delay. OBS decided to, get a little freaky with it, but we're working it out. We're here. How is everyone doing today? Big Purple 88 says, "Hey, friends!" And I can hear that in his voice so well. Junior the Hedgehog Pizza King, glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. London's Life, hey, how you doing? Anthony says, "What's good, gang?" Honestly, now that I got everything working, everything's going good. So let's let everybody cook in. 20 of you guys in there. You are real ones for this. We have not been live since, I'm sure you've noticed, May of last year. And it is now February. But, we made it. We made it. The Backyard Gang has returned. London's Life says, "I went thrift shopping and found a Barney DVD." That is awesome. What did you find? I usually whenever I'm at the thrift, the one Barney DVD I'm gonna find, it's always Barney songs. The re-release, obviously, but it's always Barney songs without fail. Sanaya Drew, sorry buddy, trying to pronounce your name right. A bunch of hearts, love that. Terry says hi. Hi guys. Anthony says, "Just got back from watching Hedge's video about Moonkin, and boy, how cute that was." Moonkin is adorable. We love Moonkin. My absolute favorite bit of Moonkin lore is, the fact that he canonically knows the Apollo astronauts, Neil Armstrong. Like, okay, alright. I love the implication in the Barney universe that they saw Moonkin and just decided not to inform anybody about that situation. Barney and the Millennium Gang. Heck yeah, you guys. I love that. Barney's numbers, but the disc was Barney's musical scrapbook. Oh, you got the classic thrift DVD mix-up. It's one for the price of another. I found a 1994 talking Barney at the flea market. His battery compartment was extremely clean despite the outside's condition. It's like he was protecting it from corrosion. All the Barney DVDs I see is also songs, but also Super Singing Circus. That DVD cover haunts me. It is a particular brand of interesting Photoshop. Like, I'm glad it was prior to AI. Because you can imagine how that would look. Barney with 7 extra toes and another hand somewhere. But it's interesting work, shall we say. Alright. Moonkin rules. He absolutely does. I just love odd-looking walk-around characters. We are having a meeting of the minds. 2 double Anthony moment in the chat. One small step for a purple dinosaur, 1 giant leap for dinosaur kind. That's real. Love that. Okay, guys, so I think I have yammered for about 4 minutes, which is an amount of yammering, as we say in the business. So, let us cook over to our ranking, and we will start to do that. So here we are for our Baby Bop costume ranking. So we have our illustrious categories, those being stupendous, goated, in my opinion, which is going to be stuff that isn't necessarily, in air quotes, good, or maybe what a lot of people would consider to be like the most optimal costume, but it is something I just enjoy, so that one's kind of my personal category. IDK is going to be for stuff that I just don't have that much of an opinion on, or it's just sort of middle tier, or it's just fine. Like, it doesn't bug me enough to have all that much to say about it. Out of all of these, there are truly no Baby Bop costumes I super dislike. I mean, obviously there's a category that says no, but, you know, you'll see what's gonna go in no, but, you know, to make it perfectly clear, none that I, like, abjectly hate. So, let us check the chat real quick. Y'all, what's the rarest piece of Barney merchandise you have? Mine is press reported Barney, and I am thrilled to know what you guys have. Junior the Hedgehog, Pizza King says, I'm after 3 specific tapes. Imagination Island, Live in NYC, and my personal grave, Barney's Stupendous Bundle Fun. Wow, I cannot read any words today. Maybe I need Barney's Stupendous Dictionary. But, goated choices, by the way. Hello, Drew. How are you today? Rocket Robinson Studio says, yep, I made that tier list. You did. Thank you for sharing that with all of us. It is very well appreciated. Did I hear the CEO of CEC finally retired? Hopefully meaning less of AI slop and more actual magic in the pizza place. I hope so. For those of you who do not know, I used to work at CEC Chuck E. Cheese, and the AI stuff of the rat made me just as sad as it made a bunch of you, I'm certain. How about you start with the 1991 costume that started it all? And that is absolutely what I'm going to do. And I think this is we're going to start off in the best possible way by being extremely controversial. And we're going to put Miss 1991 in goated, in my opinion. Is the costume extremely weird and extremely out of character for a dinosaur that is supposed to be 2 years old? Yes. Do I still love it with how bizarre it is? Absolutely. There is something delightful. I mean, it's the first Baby Bop. It's our introduction to Baby Bop, so there's always that sort of special vibe to it. But, there is something about this suit. I don't know what it is. I love how gigantic her frill or crest is. I love how pointy her ears are. And yes, it depends on the person, but some people are more or less fans of the more flattened Baby Bop snouts that we had in the beginning, where it kind of dishes downwards, and if you were performing in it, you'd really have to dunk your head to be able to see most of her nose. But there's something about Tall Bop or Mega Bop that I really like, so she's not top tier because, I mean, she's a monolith. I agree she's a monolith, and I agree that that's not really the look they probably should have been going with, but it is the look we got, and for better or for worse, I love Giant Bop. So, let's take a look. Everybody is talking about their rarest merchandise right now. We got a screener of Barney's Great Adventure tape. Absolute banger of a movie. I still have got to make at least 2 different videos on that one. I have so many hot takes. My rarest is the Prototype Actimates Barney, whose placeholder name was Realmation Performer. Yep, Realmation is has to do with the actual animation system that they use to program him. And fun fact, I'm sure plenty of you knew this, but the way that Barney works with the PC pack and the TV pack are so wildly different and wildly varying in complexities that is why you cannot use the hockey puck thing. It's not an actual hockey puck, but the little sensor that makes Barney work. The thing that's telling him to yammer. They are so profoundly different, and that is why they do not work. Hello, Benji. Devontae says, it's been a while. It really has. Thank you, Emmanuel. I heard the performer got fired for doing the street dance. I do not know about that one. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, everyone did let that fly. They could have been like, hey, kind of don't do that, but, you know. Okay, I don't disagree. Fair. I can forgive the 1991 Baby Bop suit, especially given it was their second dinosaur character. True. And thinking logically, a baby dinosaur would be taller than most of the kids. Also true. She's not Bop tier. Love that. I love Barney's Great Adventure. Me too. I'm crazy about BGA. I tell this oh my goodness. T Butterman, thank you so much for the super chat. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, thank you. That's really amazing. I haven't gotten one before. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. Tall Baby Bop or Godzilla? Who'd win? It would be a tie. That's what the government doesn't want you to know. It would be a tie. Godzilla would be forced to surrender. I can understand why they made Baby Bop taller, so I could give this a pass. Also fair. Okay, first we make up nicknames for the backyard game Barney costume. Now we make up nicknames for the original Baby Bop costume. Yep, exactly. I might get an Actimates Barney and TV pack for my birthday. I hope you do. I have yet to get one, but I am planning on it. Regarding the street dance, I think that one's more on Cheryl and Co. than Down Night, which is exactly what I was saying. They looked at this and were like, yeah, print that one. Let's put that in the concert. That's banging. Let's see. Ooh, whoa. We are already getting bopped out. We're getting error messages. Let's see what we got. Joshua Ray says, I'm new to your channel. Just wanted to drop in and say hello. Saying hello from Yazoo City, Mississippi. Hey man, it is great to see you. Hello, Purple Voice 15. It is so good to see you. Jared the Hedgehog. I mean, his head doesn't move. Yeah, that prototype, I can only imagine how limited he must be, but, you know, it's a prototype, man. Dude, she was crushing that street dance, though. She was. She was. Bopped out by the bop. Crazy. Can't have BarneyMillennium without the error message, and that is so true. Real ones know this one. Tommy Kenny says, hi, just popping in. Good to see you. I always loved what Julie Johnson did with Baby Bop's voice. Absolutely, me too. Me too. She was... And, I mean, in Barney's world, obviously, it's Barney's world, Bryn did a pretty good job capturing some of that magic that Julie really imbued into Baby Bop, but, you know, she's always going to be peak. Alright, so let's cook over to Season 2. And immediately we are going to drop, like I said, there's truly no negative category, but there is a, nah, I'm good, which is no. And we are going to put the early Season 2 dish-eyed Baby Bop in the no category. I don't really like the way that, I mean, her eyes were already pretty close to the ridge of her snout, and I mean, it's where they're supposed to go, but for whatever reason, the eyes being completely straight on and ringed with a lot more white than later and previous costumes, it's a little unsettling. I don't find any of the costumes creepy, like people will complain, you know, often unfairly about, but I don't, there's not a lot of angles where this suit looks super flattering, and they really did fix this pretty soon afterwards, and so for that reason, I'm gonna put what she became, this one, up here in Stupendous, because honestly and truthfully, I do love this suit. Is her mouth visible, like, almost ever? No. No, it is not. It has the dish snout problem. Something awful. Like, she has a frying pan nose. Bless her heart. But, this suit is so charming. It has fixed the eye problem of the early Season 2 situation. And, I don't know, she looks adorable. If you've ever seen the photo book, Baby Bop's Foods, she is so cute. All the pictures of that are amazing. It's like, Baby Bop loves pizza, and I'm like, girl, me too. Riveting read. Riveting read. I didn't know that Baby Bop was first meet in Barney and the Backyard Gang in concert. She is, and honestly, kind of underrated. I mean, everyone knows about it. So I guess it can't truthfully be underrated, but the thing is, I love Barney in concert, so I'm always going to be like, I think we can talk about Barney in concert again, even though we've talked about it 18,000 times, but that will never be enough for me. Julie really dug deep and channeled the pure toddler for Baby Bop. She did. If I'm recalling correctly, she kind of modeled the basis, the tonal center, one might say, of her voice on a toddler who, if they did not get the toy they were looking for, they were going to lose their marbles. They're just slightly unhinged, but, you know, they're very cute. So you want to give them what they want, within good reason, so. In my opinion, Season 2 Baby Bop is way better, just design-wise. Also fair. I wouldn't mind if she, meaning Bryn McCauley, the voice of classic Baby Bop, if Mattel couldn't bring back Julie, though knowing Mattel, yeah. Oh, Mattel. If only you could count on Mattel to do anything remotely intelligent, but you know how we do. Sonic says, "Hi BarneyMillennium, how are you? I am doing great, and I hope you are doing good too." Season 2 Bop intrigues me because her mouth is almost never visible, but when it is, she's all like, dee, smiley face. And that is exactly what I was saying. When it's at that point where you can see it, it looks awesome. And even when you can't, I feel like a lot of people have drawn this conclusion also, in that Baby Bop resembles somewhat a cow. But, her snout here, although it is very flat, it is very cute, and the eye ratio she's got going on, it's very cute. Can't spell Mattel without the L. Actually, legitimately true, yeah. Mattel kind of sucks. Absolutely, Tommy, absolutely. I think we are in agreement here. I wish so much that they would literally do anything remotely clever with classic Barney, because, you know, not just us, you know, but the general public knows what it wants to see, and that is the classic Barney. Yeah, that's more or less how Julie came up with the Baby Bop's voice. Thank you, Drew. I had a feeling it was somewhere along those lines. Baby Bop in that era is just the definition of baby dinosaur. And I mean, that's exactly what she's supposed to be, you know. She turns 3 years old. We see this. You know, we're like very keenly aware of this time in her life. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard from someone that the early Baby Bop's costume's mouth was able to move, but the actor just didn't. I cannot say, but I would not be surprised if it was a situation where it did move, but it was very rarely in a position where you could see it, since this requires tilting your head down, and also moving the mouth requires the same thing, so I feel like it was probably just super hard to see. So what's going on with Barney's World, and where are we going for the show? Honestly, I do not think we are really going anywhere with Barney's World. I think this is probably it, and knowing Mattel and knowing the way these things go, but if I'm gonna go full hopeful core brain for Mattel, I would not be surprised if, on the off chance they have something planned with yet another reboot of Barney's World, because you'll see they just, in terms of like reboot distances from one another, take Thomas for instance. That's my main point of contention here. All Engines Go, the 2D cartoon that I don't think actually maybe 5 people liked, which is, you know, good for you guys. They are already redoing it with something that looks, in all honesty, kind of like AI, but also better than what we were given before. So those reboots are pretty close together in terms of TV. So I would not be surprised if maybe on an off chance we got something like that with Barney. Obviously still animated, since Mattel is allergic to live action Barney, even though that's what everybody wants. Either that, or we're just going to have to rely on the A24 Daniel Kaluuya movie, so we will have to see. Season 2 Baby Bop looked like she whiffed some markers. Yeah, especially here. That is pure marker face. Everyone forgets how Barney is like 200 million years old, and yet Baby Bop is like 3. Yeah, she's got some catching up to do, doesn't she? Barney's world fate went like their pretzel. Gone. Absolutely. Absolutely. The pretzel, that's a deep cut. Knowing the animation industry, Barney's world might be cooked. Yep, especially today with Adobe's fun little activity of culling support for Adobe Animate, the artist formerly known as Adobe Flash. I want to say it's on hiatus at the moment, though that might just be me coping. Again, don't blame you, wouldn't be surprised. Hot take, maybe Barney's world sucks. That is a very popular take. You will find very many folks on your side. Mattel was also obsessed with tooth gaps for some reason. Of all the things with Barney's world, that is one of my smaller complaints, and I think they literally just did that to sort of break up Barney's horseshoe magnet-shaped teeth. We love them, but, you know, a lot of people were a little bit like, he's kind of strange looking with those teeth, but I digress. I don't have a problem with it. I can see why they did it, but yeah. It's a me, Mario. Hey, Mario. Oh, the AI Thomas things have been debunked. That's great. Though upscale might be involved. Again, great, but I would not be surprised, so that's good to know. It's fascinating that Barney seemed to end up being the shortest of the Mattel hit reboots. Absolutely, and like I said, I would not be surprised if they tried one more time or tried something. If not a full reboot, then something. I'd love that too if Mattel could do a reboot with all 4 dinosaurs and in Thomas 2026 style. Anything would be nice. Let's see. Do we even have hope for Riff to come back? Once again, I want to say yes. I doubt it. Could he? Always the opportunity is there, but I really don't know at this point. Hello, the Stormbolt. You did not miss it. I am still here. We have ranked the first 3 Baby Bop, and we will be going through the rest momentarily. Hot take, I low-key like the tooth gap. It gives dinosaur, if that makes sense, IDK. I do get that. It does kind of break up the, you know, uniform contrast of his mouth, which is fine. Like, I didn't have a super big problem with that. That was minor for me. Let's see. The one thing I liked about Barney's world, he got to feel emotions. Maybe if classic Barney got turned into 3D, he could actually feel sad or overwhelmed, etc. I hear Barney just screaming since Riff got mentioned. Oh, I'm sure he will be. In all honesty, I liked Barney having more emotions. I don't know if they always characterize the emotions in the right way. Since, once again, someone mentioned in the chat, Barney is 200 million years old. I have the distinct notion he is not going to be that overwhelmed by a game of pretend going awry. I can understand that maybe happening, but if he's going to express that kind of emotion, I think they probably should have done it a little more, I don't know, me expecting this from Mattel, cleverly, more subtle, but, you know, I digress. I feel like the kids and Baby Bop and Billy should be doing that. Let's see. Ah, Barney's been 4D, bro. First 3 pretty much the same. There's a lot of vibe here. Alright. So we are getting here in this list. So next we are going to move on to Season 3, you know, early Bop. So, this girl right here. Here she is. She escaped. Alright, so Season 3. This is definitely interesting. You can see that this is the point where they tried to kind of, for lack of a better word, puff up her snout somewhat so that it's not so flat and scooped. The performer doesn't have to tilt their head down quite so far for the mouth to be visible. And it's getting there, but my major problem with it is that she has got a heck of a 5 head here going on, and her tuft, or you know, her fluff is so big and vertical that it's giving pineapple. It's really giving pineapple. So I think early Season 3 Bop is going to be in the IDK, since I don't have enough of a problem with this to be like, not my bop, but because you can absolutely see where they were going with this, and all the other Baby Bops after this are, this is the blueprint, she is the blueprint. So I'm not saying she's not important, but could do without the pineapple head. Could do without the pineapple head. I wonder if Barney Desk will show up tonight. Hey man, I hope so. Everyone is welcome in our backyard gang. Billy, oh god, the name change, I do not like it. I do get, though, with the name being similar to the aforementioned. I get it. It's still lame, but, there we are. She escaped. Says so casually. Yep. Yep. Baby Bop has a pineapple on her head. She does. She does. I think Season 3 is alright. Essentially. Maybe if they'd call him Beach for a nickname, or Jay, that would be fun. Honestly, I mean, I guess this is also kind of sacrilege, and it is kind of stems from the problem of people mishearing his name, but the amount of people, you know, I've talked to, it's okay, we can call them normies, they will remember BJ's name as being DJ, or CJ, or something, or J. If I would be okay if they just swapped the first letter, it's not great, but at least it would sound the same way. I do like this suggestion of just Beige or J, because, I mean, they literally call him that, but, you know. It's easy to say that the second Baby Bop costume in Season 3 is better. Definitely. Season 3 Baby Bop was a little weird, but pretty much was the start of the other ones. Exactly. Hot take. I think Season 3 as a whole is just okay. And I've been seeing that sentiment a lot more lately. I don't know if that was controversial or something, because in my experience, I've always seen Season 3 as pretty positive, pretty highly ranked, but I've definitely seen more Season 3 as kind of mid, which, it has mid moments, I suppose, but I can definitely see that point. Baby Bop calls the tufts on her head her extensions. Yeah, her hair extensions. I love that outtake. For those who are uninitiated, there is a studio outtake of Baby Bop's fluff of hair falling off. And she refers to them as her hair extensions, which have fallen off. What is everyone's opinion on the new Backyard Gang suit footage? I think it's cool. Once again, for those not in the loop, definitely go see the two new videos in the fandom about the latest news. There was footage of the Barney birthday party costume from '91 that was found lately, and that costume is so delightfully interesting. It's definitely historic, and I'm glad we have footage of it. I hope we find more from around that time. '91 is such an amazing year. Let's see. If Mattel wants to hire the new voices of classic BJ and Riff if the original voice actors didn't come back, they would certainly have to find someone new for Riff, I'm certain. Give me my extensions back. Yeah. That was not an impression of Baby Bop. Disclaimer, cannot do Baby Bop's voice, but to those who can, mad respect. Then there's the one where Barney steals purse. Classic. Definitely. Imagine Season 3 Baby Bop meets 1990s Barney. That would be interesting. Especially, like, 1990 on the dot, Barney. Had to step away for a minute, but I'm super glad to see the Imagination Island suit in S tier. Could not agree with you more. Here's a guy who knows ball. That is amazing. Yeah. The costume is interesting to say the least. It is. Alright. So now that we've got a bop in each category, we can start to move on soon. Let's see what we got. Sonic asks, can you do any impressions? My favorite impression to do is BJ of varying time periods, since his voice really changes a lot, but I've always been particularly fond of that really early, really hoarse BJ. But also where he got kind of squeaky later on, so like, alright, type thing, you know? So, I have not warmed up, as you can tell, but there we are. So, let us scroll down here and start to get our next bop. Let's see what we got. So now we're cooking into the 95, 96 bop. See, now here's where I'm going to mess stuff up because I am terrible at telling some of these bops apart. But we are going to take this girl right here. And because this is very much promo bop, if you'll say. This suit right here, this is what we like to call peak bop. This is that girl. This is Baby Bop incarnate, which is, I'm just realizing, is a very, very interesting sentence to have just said. But she's in so many promo pictures. She's on like 18 million DVDs, VHS covers. This suit, it takes from the IDK basis and it just really glosses it up. Her mouth is, you know, like finally kind of visible. Granted, she has her head tilted back here, but it's like open. You can tell that there's a mouth underneath all that nose beak. So, here we go. I was actually going to ask, would you do an impression of Baby Bop? No, but thank you. Barney 1990 looks like the low poly Mario when he's away from the camera. Not untrue. Not untrue. Thank you, Sonic. Everybody clapping, thank you so much. The basis for all bops till, well, we'll get to her soon. Yup. She's an icon. She is the moment. Promo bop in 1996. Yeah, thank you. I assumed it was 96, but you know. I have been known to get my numbers tangled up, which is a shame considering I am in the numbers fandom. I love her pose. She looks just like a sassy toddler. Absolutely. Hot take. I wish the Backyard Chants could have made it into the Friends show, like the Shimbury Shimbara one, for example. And they did, very briefly. And the reason why they had to take them out is because a certain subsect of religious folks thought that it was witchcraft. Incantations, if you will. Yeah. Not the most forward-thinking of folks, but that is why they had to take them out. Neither here nor there. I could do Barney's voice, I think, says Anthony. So many of you guys in the fandom can do these amazing Barney voices, and like all kinds of Barneys too. Like every single voice actor, you guys can do impressions of that, and I super admire that. Dang, that sucks. It does. Thank you, Jared. You are much appreciated. I was thinking of the first one. That's like late season 3. So we are gonna put This picture is giving real blanky cell. So she is also gonna go in IDK. And once again, not because there's anything particularly wrong with her, although I do think her ears are bent a little funny. But she's fine. Like I said, IDK could also just be like fine, because I do not have enough of an opinion to either dock her points or give her special privilege. Let's see. So, what we got? Oh no! Barney's using his imagination! Witchcraft, I tell you, witchcraft! Unfortunately, yeah, that is exactly what these people were thinking. Thank you, Jared. Once again, you are a real one. I love doing the Barney voice. It freaks my friends out so much. You should use your powers for that. Well, imagine Barney's magic words. I wish Twinkin could have made a comeback. Twinkin was the cutest little fella. Honestly, he was. It would be nice to see him in a couple of episodes, kind of the way you might see Booker T, for example. Logistically, it probably would have been kind of hard. He was a pretty complicated RC puppet. However, if they made a, limited, cut down sort of puppet so that he was truly just operated by one puppeteer like the other Barney puppet characters, that would be pretty cool. But you can definitely see that Barney and Friends at that point was getting a little bloated on side characters of that nature, which is why they got nuked for season 7. But it still would have been nice to see Twinkin somewhere again. Let's see what we got. I'm not even going to attempt to do the BYG Barney voice. I know how Bob felt about that. That's hilarious. I never liked season 3 costume. She looked more like a frog. I can see it. Honestly, I can see Frog Bop. We have some Frog Bop truthers. I love that. It's funny how I can do Dean and Jonathan, but as for Bob, Backyard Gang, and early season 1 are the only ones I can do. Reasonable. Jared says, you can tell which Baby Bop suit is which mostly by the looks of the eyelashes and even the shape of the ears. Definitely the ears, as I just stated. This is your guy right here when it comes to identification. You guys are a lot better than me, and I respect that. So, let's scoot on down over to our next Bob. We are going to take Girly right here, and this is her from the side. She's okay. Once again, she's okay. She does have the benefit of having slightly pointier ears like the others do, but they've kind of, in terms of this particular run of suits, you can tell that this Bop has the best ears, at least in my opinion. Because I feel like it's giving more dragon than cow or sheep, lamb type thing we got going on. I don't quite know how to explain it, but see, we talk about the important stuff in these live streams, which is, why do Baby Bop's ears look like that? An essay. If they kept early Dean, it would have kept me locked in for Barney. And that is one of my absolute cold freezer takes, is that I do not actually think early Dean is any better. I honestly think he's worse than late Dean in a completely different flavor. Mostly because late Dean just sounds bored, just sounds uninterested. Barney is just super done. He would rather go home and eat a bunch of pistachios. He does not want to be here. He does not care if you are having a bad day. He's going to lean to the side and be like, oh, that does sound difficult. And then be like, well, I gotta clock out in an hour, so I don't have time for that. That is the worst impression ever, but that is what late Dean is giving. Early Dean is on something. It is the beginning of his pistachio moment, for sure. I don't know how to describe it, but he almost genuinely sounds like a parody of himself. I do not know how to describe it, but it's just like, he sounds ridiculous, and not in the enjoyable, carefree, ridiculous way. I do not know how to describe it, and I understand that a lot of people like that, and that is so cool if you do. I do not mean to knock anybody personally or for their opinion, but to me, I still wince. Every single time I watch anything from that era with Dean, I just kind of have to pretend I do not hear him, and that it's just Barney speaking somehow, but with no voice. So, let's see what we got. Let's keep up with the chat. I really got into Barney again after 18 years of hating it around the time of Barney's World airing, and through the channel, Hedge on Stage, and you helped me a bit too. I am so glad to hear that it helped, and I'm sure Hedge as well. Like, that kind of stuff, that is definitely important to Barney tubers and other folks in the community. And that is a similar story I've seen in the fandom where people went through a period of, actually this is lame, to coming back around and being like, you know what? It's not. I always thought they gave Baby Bop ears as a replacement for Triceratops horns. And I think so too. And it does make her cuter. She kind of, the way her head is shaped, you kind of need something on the side. Like, BJ can get away with it because he has a hat and his frill kind of ends at around where ears would go. But definitely. I like the middle Dean, TBH, like season 9. Also fair. I'm just nostalgic for Dean because I grew up with him. Also makes complete sense. Super hot take from Purple Voice. I think Dean is at his best when not paired with Carrie. I love when he's paired with David Joyner and even the guys in the colorful world suits. And even though I really dislike Dean's performance, I do have to agree there. There is something truly transcendent and magical about David Joyner especially performing as Barney, where he kind of sells it. You know that it's a different Barney, but you buy it. That's still bro. You know, he is still giving his all. And I mean, like you said, even with the colorful world situation, that can look really good. So I'm definitely with you there. Dean Went is my second favorite Barney actor, with Bob West being first, so I can understand why some people don't like him. And I can too, but you know. BarneyMillennium fans, gang, will know that, once again, it is not one of my streams until I remind everyone for the umpteenth time that I did not grow up with Barney. So, I did not grow with the transition from Bob to Dean, so I do not have that sort of, oh, he replaced my guy thing that some people have, which is a valid way to feel, but I do not have that. So, my preference for each voice actor is purely on taste. Late Dean's Barney actually sounds like he drank a cup and a half of coffee. At some points, honestly, do we know how many pistachios are in the coffee? No. Ooh, I made Soul Calibur characters based on Barney characters, and they look awesome. That is so cool, Fuzzy Numbers. I love that. Sorry you lost your friend's music box, Ben. Look at my sweet dance moves. Barney, probably. That's so real, Drew. Hot take. Later Dean is better than early. He doesn't sound like a tryhard and sounds more natural, but still charming and recognizable. To me, at least. Once again, completely fair, dude. That is a reasonable assumption. He doesn't... To me, I know that... I mean, logistically and logically, Dean is, you know, trying hard. He is trying to recapture some of that. But it doesn't even really sound like he's trying to be Bob to me. I know he is. I know that was the point in the beginning. But it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a bad comparison, but it's kind of like Matt Vogel's Kermit, where you know he's trying to be Kermit, but it's also just like, that's what you think Kermit sounds like? Like, I don't know if he was listening to Bob do his thing and then decided, Bob sounded like, oh my god! I know that's, once again, dreadful, dreadful representation of what I mean, but early Dean is really squeaky. I am an early Dean truther. I'd rather him sound like Tim Dever with a cold versus whatever late Dean was. Fair. I love Tim Dever. Besides Bob, Tim goated. My big sister apologizes all the time for bullying me for liking Barney. Low-key, same thing kind of happened. My entire family was violently anti-Barney. Season 10 is when Barney went to AG double hockey sticks. In many aspects, yes. Alright, next suit, y'all. We are getting there. 1 million billion pistachios. I got back into Barney because of the message he sent on Valentine's Day, and that's really sweet. Jason says, hi everyone, first time being part of a live stream here. Nice to meet y'all. Nice to meet you too, bro. It is good to see you. One of my friends is relieved I'm one of the normal Barney fans and not like other fandoms. Loud House, for example. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Alright. So, let us move on to our next bop. So, we got over here our girly. Oops. Let's try and just start sorting through. So over here, I cannot wait to get to late bop, but here we are. In no particular order, we have transparent bop. It literally it looks like she's ascending. Oh my god. Okay. I can't believe I'm laughing at my own joke. Okay. This is the peak humor we've gotten here, guys. So, once again, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. My major thing with this suit is, I'm gonna say that she looks a little tired. She looks a little tired, and not in sort of the regular heavy Baby Bop eyelids way that she can sometimes have, especially here. But something about this one, once again, fine. Not really any suits I super dislike, but it is okay. We got, I remember Dean said he used to do the voice for his kids before auditioning. That is cool. I can see that, definitely. I got back into Barney during COVID. He was there for me at a bad time. He was a friend I needed since others were leaving me or flat out ghosted. And there is something really special about Barney where you can always count on him. And I love that. That is one of my favorite things. That was what, in part, drew me to him in the first place. I honestly just got into Barney after I found him creepy for like 3 years, which a lot of people did. And when I was 4, he grew on me. Then I started getting a bunch of DVDs and my first plushie. I love that. Transparent Baby Bop bopped for our sins. She absolutely did. Our bop and savior. Barney, the rapture got me. I've been a good dinosaur, Barney. I'm going to heaven. Is it me or the colorful world, Barney? A mix of season 8 and season 9. Low-key. I mean, it is that time period. So, my true bop believers. Let us keep going. We're going to take our little blurry girl over here, and we are going to put her in, can you guys guess which category? She is going to go into IDK. Once again, head's a little triangular. It's giving rhombus. The eyes are kind of tilted at a strange angle inward. And once again, she is fine, but she just doesn't really do it for me. She just does not really do it for me. Well, basically, I gave up Barney around late 2015. I know I don't make fun, lol. I was a late bloomer, but got into it basically for nostalgia. Also fair. I'm coming with you, Baby Bop! Bop-a-looyah. Blessed be the Bop. Bro's talking to us like it's season 9. I'm loving the Church of Bop in the comments. This is wonderful. I'm glad that we have all turned to Bopism in this time of darkness. I don't know how to feel about that one. Also fair. It's like, you know, if really pushed, I could probably kick her down into no, but I just feel so neutrally about the whole thing. Now, this girlie over here, she is going to go into goated, in my opinion. And she's going into goated, in my opinion, because for the same reason I docked a girlie a few points over here, transparent, holy bop over here. Some points for her eyelids being kind of heavy. She does have heavy eyelids too, and quite an extravagant pair of eyelashes. But there's something about this one where she just does it for me. The hair is pretty well balanced with all the features. She looks chill, which is kind of funny knowing Baby Bop's tendency to become not chill very quickly, especially later on. I'm kind of rocking with this one. I don't know what it is. I like the heavier lid, probably for the same reason why Season 1 Barney is my absolute truthful goat, because of how heavy those eyelids are. She's rocking, I think. Bebop, boppin', baby bop in a boombox. Say that 10 times fast. Also, the Mr. Knickerbocker instrumental from Three Wishes sounds very weird. The first adaptation, then now instrumental. Yeah, there's some stuff from then that just sounds certifiably interesting. I love the way you said rhombus. Thank you. Rhombus is a fun word. I just know that the Barney desk is fuming right now with this stream. Yeah. It is a little funny how the opinions of all of us Barney tubers clash or like cross over, and we're kind of like, yeah, we can agree on this, and sometimes it's just like, what are you thinking, bro? I can feel the steam coming from his ears. That is default bop, lol. Absolutely. Love a good default bop. I'm guessing Birthday Bash bop is excluded for reasons. Now, there are tier lists with alternate suits, which I will probably do separately if there is interest for, so if you guys want to see me rank the alternate costumes from certain stage shows and other instances, let me know. I will also do that poorly for you guys. The same Baby Bop costume that was used for quite a long time from the later episodes of Season 4, yeah, and all the way to the Season 12, despite the different tweaks for the suit. And there were tweaks to the suit, especially the mouth mechanism situations. Do Bowser Jr. voice impression, please. Yeah. That was not an impression, by the way. I will try and remember to do that, if I can practice that for you guys. Maybe I'll just do a stream sometime where because I have done it before, a stream where I wasn't, like, trying to accomplish a task, like, remix a character or rank somebody. If I'm just doing a straight Q&A one, I will try and do that for you guys. Barney Dust doesn't believe in the Bop. He believes in Lord Riff. And to that I say, why not both? We are a happy family. A family implies more than one person in it. Or more than one dinosaur. Let's not fight. Thank you. You guys are so real for that. I'm just saying, what would Riff have looked like back in Season 1? Now, I do have a sort of mock-up I've made a couple of times of Riff in earlier seasons, what I might imagine he looks like by kind of tweaking the costume a bit. But I imagine he would also be far too tall, incredibly bulky, and probably mildly frightening in the best way. Yeah, someone has mentioned the strange mouth mechanism in season 7 and 8, which was a trip, shall we say. And as you can see over here, we have aforementioned season 7 era situation. So I am going to put this Bop over here in IDK. And why are we putting her in IDK? This Bop really and truly does have mule ears. And I love mules, but they're so thin and there's not really anything in them. It's a very nothing burger. Now, I'm not trying to judge poor Bop exclusively by her ears, even though I have done a lot of that. A lot more than I expected I would going into this stream. But, once again, she's fine. She is fine. I think if you ate a pistachio every single time I said she's fine this stream, you would have a pistachio problem as bad as Barney's. I mean, we're all in it for the Purple Messiah anyway. Very true, Drew. He who reigns above us all. The Purple Messiah. He'd be boxy. Very, very boxy. In reference to a Season 1 riff. Absolutely. I know he would be completely unwieldy like BJ. I like the idea that each of the little dinos is a different denomination of Barneyism. That is a hilarious concept. And if anybody wants to do a video about that, please do that. Bop. It's pretty much fun to say. It is. Let's see. This might be a hot take, but the boring Italian intro is low-key a banger. I think so. I genuinely think so. Did you know that the Wiggles were supposed to be in Come On Over to Barney's house? I think I did. Love them, but glad they weren't. Oh god, the kid's pixelated face. Cursed, LMAO. Deeply, deeply cursed, yes. The Italian theme. Boring? Reasonable. Reasonable. Alright, let's see what we got. She's fine. Earth-shattering crunch. Yep. I still am blown away by the one pistachio crunch in the episode that genuinely sounds like it shorted out the mic and blew out a transformer. Like, that was... Yikes. Alright. So, we've got Baby Bop and her pixelated disciples down here. And, honestly, she's going in stupendous. She is fairly similar, I think, to Miss 96 promo, but they've kind of narrowed out both her face and her ears just enough that it's kind of made her more concise, a little smoother. Is she gonna have the weird mouth mechanism thing? Yeah, but in terms of aesthetics and looks, this is Baby Bop to plenty of folks, and she looks good in photos, you know? Our Bop is photogenic. What a twist! Absolutely, definitely. You never know what to expect here. For better or for worse. You never know what to expect. So now, we are down... I meant to say Barney instead of boring. I see what you mean now, the Italian Barney intro. It's banging. To me, I feel like that is the definitive version people think of whenever they hear Baby Bop. Unless you're a freak and thought of Season 1 Borp. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Absolutely, they have definitely kind of made her the quintessential Bop. She definitely looks good. Frustration with that suit is definitely the mouth mechanism, and that is absolutely my opinion as well. That's what detracts the points from a technical level, but looks, yeah. So now we've got Season 13 Bop. And before I sort our last bop in here, some caveats. This is the smallest bop. She is on a physical form. She looks the most like what Baby Bop is supposed to be, you know, 3-year-old. She's very small. She's very cute. The suit is compact. The suit, most of the suit looks really good. I like her hair. I'm not too bothered by the ears. But the eyes, the face, I don't know what they did, but they somehow combined the crushed head situation from Miss No Bop over here and season 3 where there's too much forehead and just sloped it back, just scooped it back and left her with this weird half taco snout situation. Like, it looks a bit like a sock puppet. I do not like the face on this suit. This is one of the suits that I actively am like, ugh, about. And I feel bad because if they had just used more of a snout bop, just kind of shifted her head around, this could have really been a nice suit. But because of the way that this all culminated, she is going to have to go and no. And with that, we are realizing we have a lot of meh bops, 2 no thank yous, and on the opposite side of the coin, 2 personal favorites, and 3 stupendous, which is definitely an algorithm of some kind, but we are definitely on top. So, yikes, I don't think I like the sound of Zombie Bop. Neither do I, that is dreadful. Artbudden says, "Hi, this is crazy. I was browsing YouTube when I saw this. YouTube is amazing. Welcome to the purple onslaught, bro. Glad to have you. Thank you for tuning in. You're a real one." That is a sleep-deprived dragonfly painted green with a bow. Yeah, I don't know. She just looks unnecessarily crunchy for no reason. OMG. I have a fun idea for a future stream tier list for the Barney plushies. Some official ones look wonky. That is a tremendous idea. I would love to do that also. So if any of you guys who are super good at making these tier lists, I know a lot of you guys are, put in your favorite Barney plushies. I will rank those. Jared says, okay, hear me out. Season 13 Bop is the most toddler in body form. Fair. And she is a female performer, making it more authentic. I mean, definitely. I mean, definitely authentic. I think you can perform. I think you can get an authentic performance doing the opposite of yourself. Like Julie and Patty do an awesome job. I mean, especially Patty as BJ. But, and I mean, like I said, that does make her smaller. It does lend her to being smaller. She does really good. Eyes aside, she looks the most like what Baby Bop should look like. And I would definitely agree with that if not for Imagination Island Bop existing, since she is, once again, that girl. If they could fix her mouth a little bit and get her sort of the shape of Season 13, that would be a really goated combination. Just give her some mouth. At least 1 to 3 tried to make her look cute, granted looking like she drank 12 cups of coffee in the process. 13 Bob is just, Say what you will about the Season 13 suit, but Lauren was great in that role. And that I super agree with. I love her in Birthday Bash. I love the second Birthday Bash suit for Baby Bop. That suit, oi. If I do alternate suits, that is going to be top. Oof, my heart just broke with where you ranked the Season 13 suit. Sorry, but yeah. But I totally get why a lot of people have that as their least favorite. It's a very drastic departure from what came before. And it absolutely did. It's so scrunchy. Lauren, amazing, but oof, scrunch. That sums it up best. Great body actor, terrible suit. And like I said, I do not hate or actively detest any of these, but they are definitely bottom. Season 13 Bop's eyes look way too adult. I don't know if it's quite adult so much as it is just strange. They're not really so cute. They're not super big like 94 Bop up here, and they don't have quite the same eyelash placement on the sides to make them look like that, but definitely they look odd. They don't look very Baby Bop-esque, to say the least. I don't love it, don't hate it. Absolutely. Like, why did they even want to change the design? I think they were in the process of, like, slimming down the suit and then just decided they would redo the head again and went too far. They just kind of... I find sometimes if you're drawing, or if you're someone who writes, any creative pursuit really, if you go back and edit something and you sit and look at it too hard, it's going to start looking funny, and then you're going to over-edit it. You're going to overcorrect. And I'm not certain that that's what happened with the Season 13 suit, but it would not surprise me. Who's giving the 3-year-old such mascara? Lol. Our delightful Bop has always been saying with the winged eyeliner, she is that girl. A tier list exists. Oh, I can read, I promise you guys, I watch Barney. A tier list exists. I will get on that then, definitely. But I want my dinos to be husky. I'm not unreasonable. I do love the sheer chunkiness of, like I said earlier, Season 1 Barney. That's my guy. Absolute favorite. I do like when they're dinosaurs. They're big. They're stompy. That's fun. Had that happen to me a lot with some of my Barney art, so I get that struggle. Absolutely. I think a good analogy is over slicing a pizza. You're right. You guys are great with this. But yeah. Definitely shake it up, but the second you start going in too hard, you're going to mess something up. Something is getting messed up. Love Season 1 Barney. And that's why you're a real one. It's in the suggestions channel. Heck yeah. Thank you. Much obliged, you guys. Much obliged. Alright, so let us take one final look at our chart. I have been yammering about our Bop for a whole hour and 15 minutes. So, I would like to extend my thank you to everybody who came out tonight, ranked some Bop with me, hung out, asked questions, super chatted. Thank you all so much. I am going to wrap it up here, but once again, I cannot do this without you guys. I love hearing your questions, your comments, hanging out with you, the suggestions for new videos, all this kind of thing. It's awesome. So, I am going to start wrapping things up here. I am watching the chat. Someone is shouting out our friend Barney in the chat right now, which you all should definitely do since he rocks. I love all you guys who archive content, who upload your own stuff. You're all, to quote Barney, special in your own way. And I am going to end it there. Good night, Backyard Gang. Thank you for hanging out. And I will see you guys next time. Hopefully not in another year. So, thank you guys for coming out, and I will see you next time. Bye, you guys.